Chosen one, stop for a moment. Do not treat this like background noise. Do not let your hand move away from this message. Heaven did not bring you here by accident, and your spirit already knows why this feels different. God has spoken something unusual over you, something so specific that your old life may not know how to receive it. This is not another general word. This is not another sweet sentence for the crowd. This is the kind of message that finds one person in the middle of noise, pulls them aside, and makes the room feel strangely quiet. You may have felt it before this began. You may have sensed that something was trying to reach you. Maybe the last few days have felt heavy. Not dramatic, not easy to explain, just heavy. You wake up and your body is present, but your spirit feels like it has been listening all night. And when you try to return to normal, something inside you refuses to pretend that everything is normal. You have been feeling a pull, a quiet pressure, a holy unease. It is not fear, even though it may shake you. It is not confusion, even though your mind may not have words for it yet. It is your inner witness recognizing that a word has been released, and it carries your name in the unseen. Chosen one. This is why you could not settle. This is why the old conversations felt empty. This is why entertainment could not keep your attention. You tried to distract yourself, but your spirit kept turning back toward one question. What is God trying to show me now? You may have woken up between 3 and 4 in the morning. Your eyes opened before the world was awake. The room was still. Your phone was quiet. Yet something inside you felt alert, as if heaven had called your spirit into a private meeting while your body was still trying to rest. And maybe you dismissed it. You told yourself it was stress. You blamed the food, the weather, the schedule, the noise, the bills, the people around you. But deep down, you knew this was not ordinary restlessness. Something in you was standing at attention before your mind understood the command. You have also noticed the signs, repeating numbers, sudden silence, strange dreams, a name coming back to your mind, a feeling in your chest when certain words are spoken. These things did not happen to make you paranoid. They happened because your spirit was being tuned to recognize a message that could not arrive through ordinary noise. Listen carefully. God has never said this before in the way He is saying it to you now. That does not mean His nature changed. It means the season changed. It means the version of you who used to beg for confirmation has now reached a place where heaven can speak with a different level of trust. You are not being called like the crowd. You are not being corrected like a stranger. You are being addressed like someone heaven has watched for a long time. Every delay, every betrayal, every night you cried and still chose not to become cruel, was recorded in a place no human eye could edit. That is why this word had to wait. If it came when you were still trying to be accepted by everyone, you would have handed it to the wrong people. If it came when you still feared being misunderstood, you would have buried it just to stay safe. But now, something in you is changing. The old hunger for approval is dying. The old fear of standing alone is losing its grip. You still feel tender, but you are not as available for manipulation as you used to be. And that is one reason heaven can finally say what your spirit was not ready to carry before. God has not been silent because He forgot you. He has been silent because the word was too weighty for the room you were trying to fit into. Some words cannot be released while you are still shrinking yourself for people who profit from your smallness. Some words have to wait until you stop apologizing for being chosen. That is why this message may feel like it is touching places you kept hidden. You thought you were waiting for an answer about money, love, direction, or timing. But heaven is going deeper than the visible problem. God is dealing with the version of you that learned to expect little, even after praying for much. But here is what your spirit must hear. The emptiness was not the end of your calling. It was the clearing of false voices. It was the removal of attachments that would have corrupted the next instruction. God was not taking everything from you. He was making sure nothing false could answer before He did. Stay with me, because the next part matters. The word God has spoken is not just comfort. It is not just a gentle reminder that you are loved. Those things are true, but this is deeper. This is about trust. This is about assignment. This is about heaven placing a rare responsibility on a person who almost gave up. That quiet hope is why this message found you. God is not speaking to the polished version you show the world. He is speaking to the hidden one, the one who still believes even after disappointment trained you to lower your eyes. Heaven is addressing the part of you that never fully stopped listening. Now I need you to notice something. The enemy did not only attack your circumstances, the enemy attacked your ability to hear. Noise became normal. Exhaustion became normal. Mental fog became normal. And when your inner signal became crowded, even a real word from God could feel distant or delayed. This is where many chosen ones misunderstand the battle. They think they need louder signs, bigger dreams, and more dramatic confirmations. But sometimes heaven is not trying to shout. Sometimes heaven is waiting for your mind and spirit to become clear enough to receive the whisper that changes everything. I want to speak honestly here, because this message is not built on suspense for the sake of suspense. Later, I will share more about a tool called the Genius Song. It is a 7-minute audio designed around brain entrainment and the restoration of gamma, the brainwave connected with clarity, intuition, and flow. Do not rush away for that yet. Let the word enter first. If your spirit already feels a pull toward that kind of support, the path will be in the description and the pinned comment. But the tool will only make sense after you understand what God is restoring in you and why this restoration is not ordinary. This is why the thumbnail said only for you, not because God loves no one else, not because you are invited into pride, but because there are moments when heaven speaks to a person with such precision that nobody else can wear the word correctly. This is one of those moments. The next thing I need to show you will reframe everything. It will explain why the delay had to happen, why the silence became so thick, and why God waited until now to say what he had never said to you before. Do not leave this moment. Your spirit is closer than it thinks. Chosen one. Now let me reframe the silence. You thought God was holding back because you did something wrong. You thought heaven was waiting for you to become perfect. But the truth is much deeper. God did not delay the word because he doubted you. He delayed it because the word had to meet the version of you that could finally carry it. There are words heaven cannot place inside a fearful vessel. Not because you are unworthy, not because you are rejected, but because a wounded heart will sometimes hand sacred things to unsafe hands just to be understood. God had to heal the part of you that confused exposure with intimacy. This is why people left. This is why certain doors closed without explanation. This is why familiar voices began to sound strange, even when they were saying normal things. Your spirit was being separated from rooms that could not honor what God was preparing to say. The silence was not punishment. It was protection. You were not being ignored. You were being hidden. You were not being delayed. You were being refined. And while you kept asking why nothing was moving, heaven was removing every false witness that would have tried to interpret your next season through the lens of your old pain. That is why the separation felt both painful and necessary. Your soul cried, but your spirit knew. Something in you understood that the same places where you were tolerated could never become the places where you were truly sent. God did not create you to be barely accepted by those who fear your light. And this is where the enemy tried to twist the story. The enemy wanted you to call it rejection. The enemy wanted you to call it abandonment. The enemy wanted you to look at closed doors and believe heaven had changed its mind. But God was not removing love from you. He was removing confusion around you. Listen closely. A crowded life cannot always receive a precise word. A crowded mind cannot always recognize a holy whisper. And a crowded spirit will often mistake anxiety for discernment because it has been trained to live under pressure for so long that peace feels unfamiliar. That is why you have felt the strange quiet. God has been lowering the volume of everything that competed with his voice. He has been pulling you out of constant reaction. He has been teaching your nervous system that you do not have to chase every person, answer every accusation, or explain every season. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not being passed over. The delay was not a denial. It was a divine holding pattern while heaven prepared the ground beneath you. If the word had arrived too soon, your old fear would have buried it under other people's opinions. Think about Moses. He did not hear the fire of calling while he was still surrounded by palace approval. He heard it in the wilderness, where nothing familiar could applaud him. God waited until the noise of Egypt was gone, because the assignment required a man who no longer needed Egypt to name him. Think about Samuel. The voice of God came in the night, when other people were asleep. It came softly. It came again. It did not arrive as a public announcement. It came to a young listener whose spirit was still clean enough to answer before he fully understood who was calling. Think about Elijah. God was not in the violent wind. God was not in the earthquake. God was not in the fire. He came in the still small voice, because the deepest instructions often arrive in a form that only a quiet spirit can honor. That is why your life has become quieter. That is why some excitement stopped satisfying you. That is why the old noise now feels almost painful. Heaven is not making your life empty. Heaven is making your inner room clean enough for a word that cannot compete with chaos. Chosen one, you must stop interpreting stillness as failure. Stillness is often the last room before release. It is the place where God removes the performance, the people-pleasing, the panic, and the old agreement that said, you must earn love by exhausting yourself. You have been trained to survive by over-explaining. You explain your motives, you explain your pain, you explain your boundaries, you explain why you need rest. But God is bringing you into a season where your obedience will not require a public defense, because the word over you will defend itself. This is part of what God has never said to you before. He is not just saying, I will bless you. He is not just saying, I will restore you. He is saying, I can now trust you with silence. I can now trust you with separation. I can now trust you with a word that others may not understand. Do you feel the weight of that? Heaven does not give rare instructions to a soul that still needs every room to clap. Heaven gives them to the one who can stand still while misunderstood, stay soft while corrected, and keep listening while the world tries to pull them back into noise. The delay trained you for that. The betrayal trained you for that. The long nights trained you for that. Even the seasons when you felt mentally foggy and spiritually numb were not wasted, because they exposed how much noise had attached itself to your inner signal. Some of what you called spiritual tiredness may also be the result of living too long in mental clutter. When the mind is crowded, discernment feels distant. When your brain is exhausted, even a holy instruction can arrive like a faint sound through a storm. That does not mean God is absent. It means the channel has been under pressure. It means the part of you created to hear, sense, and move with precision has been buried under stress, survival, grief, and constant stimulation. This is why clarity matters. Not as a luxury, not as self-help, as protection for the word God is releasing. Later, I will show you why Gamma matters for chosen ones. But for now, understand the spiritual meaning first. The gift in you did not die. Your discernment did not disappear. The signal was not destroyed. It was covered by layers of noise that God is now removing one by one. You have been asking for a sign, but heaven has been asking for your agreement. You have been asking for confirmation, but God has been preparing your capacity. You have been asking when it will happen, but God has been asking whether you are ready to stop shrinking when it does. Because the word God has never said before will not fit inside your old identity. It will not fit inside the version of you that says, maybe I am asking for too much. It will not fit inside the version of you that waits for people who never celebrated your obedience to approve your elevation. This is why the next part will confront you. Not to shame you, not to wound you, not to make you feel small. It will confront the lie that taught you to expect less from God than He intended to release through you. It will expose the hidden blocker standing between the word and your full agreement. Stay with me now. The silence has been explained. The delay has been reframed. The separation has been named. But the deepest truth is still ahead, and when you hear it, you will understand why God waited until this exact season to say what He has never said to you before. Chosen one, now we have reached the place your spirit tried to avoid. This is not because you are weak. It is because the truth here touches the part of you that has been surviving for years. God did not bring you this far to comfort a lie. He brought you here to remove it. The hidden blocker was never stronger than God. The enemy was never powerful enough to cancel what heaven wrote over you. People were never big enough to erase your assignment. But a wounded identity can shrink a divine word until it feels safer to doubt than to believe. That is what happened. You learned to expect less because disappointment taught you to protect yourself. You stopped asking boldly. You stopped hoping openly. You learned to pray with one hand lifted and the other hand guarding your heart from the pain of another delay. God saw that. He saw the way you lowered your voice around people who could not carry your depth. He saw the way you made your dreams sound smaller, just so nobody would accuse you of thinking too highly of yourself. And He saw every moment you apologized for carrying a light you did not choose. This is the confrontation. You were not only fighting outside resistance, you were fighting the version of yourself that learned to feel guilty for being chosen. You wanted God to speak, but part of you was afraid that if He spoke too clearly, you would no longer have permission to hide. That is why the word could not come earlier. Not because heaven was uncertain, not because God was deciding whether you were worth it. The word waited because you needed to outgrow the identity that would have rejected it the moment it sounded bigger than your pain. Listen carefully. The enemy did not need to destroy your calling if he could train you to mistrust it. He did not need to steal your crown if he could make you feel embarrassed to wear it. He did not need to block the door if he could convince you that the door was meant for someone else. You were not jealous of their blessing. You were grieving the part of you that knew you were born for more. There is a difference. Jealousy says, "Why them?" Calling says, "God, I know there is something in me too." And for years, you confused that sacred ache with selfishness. Chosen one, God is correcting that today. He is not asking you to become arrogant. He is asking you to stop insulting His investment in you. Every gift He placed in your spirit was not a decoration. It was not given so you could hide it beneath fear and call that humility. False humility is not obedience. Shrinking is not holiness. Silence is not always wisdom. Sometimes silence is fear wearing religious clothing, and sometimes the thing you called patience was really your heart trying not to be disappointed again. This is where the word becomes heavy. God has never said this to you before in this way, because you were not ready to hear it without running from it. But now heaven is saying, I trusted you with what I could not release through anyone else in your bloodline. Let that enter slowly. God trusted you, not the loudest one, not the most approved one, not the one everybody understood. God trusted the one who cried quietly, kept showing up, carried the family weight, absorbed storms, and still refused to become cruel. This is why you survived what should have changed your heart. This is why you kept feeling different from your own environment. This is why old patterns broke when they reached you. You are not just receiving a blessing, you are becoming the interruption in a cycle that thought it would continue forever. Heaven did not choose you because your life was easy. Heaven chose you because something in you kept agreeing with God, even when your circumstances argued against Him. Every time you chose mercy instead of bitterness, a chain weakened. Every time you chose truth instead of performance, a false altar cracked. Your bloodline has seen repetition, repeated fear, repeated lack, repeated silence, repeated broken trust, repeated people living beneath what God placed inside them. But God looked at you and said, "This one will not carry it the same way. This one will not hand it onward unchanged." That is why the attack felt personal. It was personal, not because you were abandoned, but because the pattern recognized you as a threat. Your peace threatened it. Your discernment threatened it. Your refusal to stay blind threatened it. Your ability to keep loving without surrendering your soul threatened it. You kept asking why life felt harder for you than for people who did not even seem to care about purpose. Here is the reason. You were not only living your own battle, you were standing at the point where inherited fears and spiritual resistance met your assignment. But hear this. God did not say you would barely survive it. He said you would break it. Not by screaming, not by proving, not by begging people to see you. You break it by becoming so aligned with the word over you that the old pattern can no longer use your fear as a doorway. David was anointed before the throne. Joseph dreamed before the palace. Esther was positioned before the threat was visible. The word often comes before the evidence, because faith is not agreement after proof. It is agreement with God before the room understands. So when God says He trusted you, He is not flattering you. He is summoning you. He is calling the hidden strength forward. He is speaking to the version of you that no longer needs the old life to confirm what heaven already approved. You have been waiting for people to understand the shift. They may not. You have been waiting for your emotions to feel ready. They may not. You have been waiting for perfect confidence. It may not come first. Sometimes obedience begins while your hands still tremble. And that is why this word is different. It does not merely tell you that something good is coming. It tells you that God has placed responsibility on your life that your old self could not name. You are not just being rescued from a season. You are being entrusted with what the season produced in you. Do not make this small. Do not reduce it to a mood. Do not call it just encouragement. This is a divine exception. God is doing something through you that your history did not prepare others to expect, and they may not recognize you when the shift becomes visible. But here is the danger. Receiving the word is not the same as keeping it. Many people feel a holy fire for a moment, then return to the same fog, the same noise, the same exhaustion, and the same inner patterns that made them question the word before sunset. That cannot be you. Not this time. The word over you is too important to be swallowed by distraction. Your clarity must be protected. Your inner signal must be guarded. Your mind and spirit must stop living at the mercy of every voice that wants access to your attention. This is why the next part matters so deeply. If God trusted you with what He could not release through anyone else in your bloodline, then you cannot keep treating your clarity like something optional. You need to understand how to hold what heaven has just placed in your hands. Stay with me now. The word has been spoken. The hidden blocker has been exposed. The old identity has been confronted. But now we must deal with the practical spiritual question that decides everything. How do you keep the word alive after this moment ends? Chosen one, receiving the word is holy. Keeping the word requires clarity. Many people touch a sacred moment, cry for a few minutes, feel fire in their chest, and then return to the same noise that made them doubt God yesterday. That cannot be your pattern now, because what heaven placed in you is too weighty to be lost in distraction. God can speak clearly, but a crowded mind can still misread the instruction. A tired spirit can confuse warning with fear. A wounded nervous system can turn divine timing into panic because it has lived under pressure for so long that peace feels almost unfamiliar. That is why clarity is not a small thing. Clarity is protection. Clarity is stewardship. Clarity is the clean inner room where the word of God can land without being twisted by fear, grief, or other people's voices. If God trusted you with something unusual, then your inner signal must be guarded. Earlier, I mentioned the Genius song softly, and I told you not to rush away. Now you understand why. This is not about chasing a product. This is about supporting the part of you that needs to hear, discern, and move without the old fog pulling you back into yesterday. The Genius Song is a 7-minute digital audio created around brain entrainment. You listen with headphones. You do not need a difficult ritual. You do not need to force a meditation. You simply sit, listen, and allow the sound pattern to support the brain state connected with clarity, intuition, and flow. That brain state is called gamma. Many chosen ones know this state without knowing the name. You felt it when you were younger, when ideas came quickly, when your inner knowing was sharp, and when the world felt more connected than it does now. Science calls it gamma, but your spirit may remember it as divine clarity. Dr. Robert Lake spent 34 years studying the brain and how sound can guide it toward more powerful states. Research from MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and other leading universities has helped show why gamma matters for focus, learning, and intuitive awareness. This is not about replacing faith. It is about supporting the vessel that faith speaks through. More than 18,366 people have already used it. But the trust signal is not only the number. Fewer than 4% ask for a refund, which means most people continue after the guarantee window because they feel it is worth keeping. One woman had spent years searching for connection. She tried long meditation sessions, spiritual retreats, and every method that promised peace. But nothing reached the place inside her that felt blocked. After using the Genius Song for 2 weeks, she described the change with one word: synchronicities. She did not say her whole life became perfect overnight. That is not the point. She said the world began to feel like it was speaking again. Her timing felt cleaner. Her decisions felt less clouded. She began noticing small doors, small confirmations, and quiet inner nudges that she had not felt in years. That is the kind of support many chosen ones need right now. Not more noise, not more pressure. Not another complicated system that makes you feel like failure if you miss a day. 7 minutes. Headphones. A simple daily rhythm to help your mind return toward the clarity your spirit has been asking for. Now let us speak plainly about value without turning this sacred moment into a sales pitch. Many people spend around $15 every month on meditation apps. Some spend $100 to $200 on online growth courses. A retreat can cost $400 to $800, and one therapy session can be around $150. Some clinics even charge around $300 for biofeedback sessions, and those can require repeated visits. But most of those paths do not focus directly on gamma support. The Genius Song takes a different path. Dr. Robert Lake compressed his work into one 7-minute audio with no subscription and no complicated routine. The regular price is $49, but for the people receiving this message through this video, it is available for $39 one time. Not as a loud promotion, not as a gimmick. It is positioned that way because the mission is to place this tool in the hands of people who truly need clarity now. You also receive 4 bonuses with it. Genius Child has a separate value of $19. The classic book has a value of $20. Guided visualization has a value of $29. The 5-habit infographic has a value of $12. Together, the bonuses alone carry $80 in value. And you keep those bonuses. Even if you try the Genius Song and decide it is not for you, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. You can ask for a refund with no complicated conditions. The bonuses remain with you as an acknowledgement of the time you invested. So the risk is not heavy. The heavier risk is hearing a word like this, feeling your spirit recognize it, and then letting the same fog, fear, and distraction take the wheel again tomorrow. Nobody can choose clarity for you. But when a door appears at the right moment, wisdom does not mock it. I also need to protect you here. There are fake pages and copied versions using the name The Genius Song. Some are only ordinary sounds with no real brain entrainment behind them. Do not search for it on Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, or random websites. because the original version is connected only through the link in the description and the pinned comment. That link is also where the bonuses and guarantee are connected. If your spirit recognizes this is for the clarity God is restoring in you, use that door and not another one. This is not pressure. This is protection, because counterfeit doors often appear when something real begins to move. Now pause for a moment. Take one slow breath. Place your hand over your chest if that feels right. Ask yourself this one question. Am I ready to hear God from the version of me that no longer hides? Do not answer from fear. Answer from the part of you that has survived enough to know the difference. If the answer inside you is yes, the path is in the description and the pinned comment. Step through it quietly. Receive the tool. Let the 7 minutes become a daily place where your mind stops scattering and your spirit can recognize what heaven is saying with more peace. But whether you move now or later, do not forget the deeper truth. God has spoken something unusual over you. He trusted you with what he could not release through anyone else in your bloodline. The tool supports clarity, but the word itself is the foundation. Do not let any tool replace the voice of God. Let it support your focus. Let it support your inner stillness. Let it support the part of you that needs to stop living at the mercy of panic. You are not trying to become someone else. You are returning to the sharpness, peace, and holy awareness that were buried under years of survival. Now we move into the seal. The door has been shown. The word has been named. The clarity has been offered. But before this message ends, we must close the old agreement completely, because fear will try to speak again when this moment is over. Chosen one, now we seal the word. Do not rush this ending. Do not let your mind run back to the old noise. Something sacred has been placed in your spirit, and this final moment is where you agree not to hand it back to fear. God has spoken with precision, and your chest feels different because your spirit recognizes the weight of being addressed by heaven. You are not leaving this message the same way you entered it. You came in carrying questions. You came in wondering if the delay meant rejection. You came in with the quiet ache of someone who waited longer than they wanted to admit. But now you know the truth. The silence was not abandonment, the delay was not denial, and the separation was not punishment. God was making room around you, so the word could land without being polluted by every voice that trained you to doubt yourself. Heaven is calling you to agree. Not with panic, not with performance, not with the need to prove anything today. Agreement can be quiet and still powerful, because the deepest yes often happens where no one else can see it. In the next 72 hours, watch for confirmation. Do not demand thunder when God may send peace. Do not demand a dramatic sign when God may send sudden clarity, a repeated number, a dream, a conversation, or a stillness that feels stronger than fear. The sign may begin inside before it appears outside, because God often changes the receiver before he changes the room. You may notice something small. A door may open in your mind before it opens in the world. A name may return. A burden may lift for no visible reason. A sentence may come while you are doing something ordinary, and your spirit will know it is not random. Do not despise the small sign, because peace is a form of authority in a heart that has survived storms. Now place your attention on your breath. Slow down. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw soften. You do not have to carry every burden in this moment, because the word God released is not asking you to perform. It is asking you to receive. Let the part of you that has been bracing for disappointment finally come down from its watchtower. Say this in your spirit, or speak it softly if you can. I receive the word God has spoken over me. I release the fear that made me shrink. I release the old agreement that taught me to expect less than heaven intended. I am not forgotten. I am not misplaced. I am not behind. I am not too late for the promise. I receive the unusual word. I receive the rare assignment. I receive the trust of heaven without turning it into pride. I will not make myself small to comfort people who were comfortable with my silence. I forgive the version of me that hid. and I forgive the version of me that doubted the light God placed inside me. I forgive the version of me that gave sacred energy to unsafe hands. I forgive myself for surviving in ways I no longer need. Today, I come out of the old agreement. I come out of delay in my mind. I come out of fear in my spirit. I come out of the need to be approved by rooms God has already called me out of. I declare that my clarity is returning. My discernment is waking. My inner signal is becoming clean again. I will know the difference between fear and warning, between noise and guidance, between pressure and true instruction. I will not call confusion normal anymore, and I will not let old panic pretend to be wisdom. God trusted me with what could not be released through anyone else in my bloodline. I do not receive this as ego. I receive it as stewardship. I receive it as holy responsibility, and I will not use it to dominate, but to obey. The cycle stops at me. The fear stops at me. The confusion stops at me. The pattern will not pass through me unchanged. I am the one who listens. I am the one who discerns. I am the one who stands still when noise demands a reaction. I am the one who lets God define the season, not the wound that tried to name me. Every counterfeit voice loses authority over my attention, and every false urgency loses access to my peace. I belong to God. I belong to purpose. I belong to the word that found me even when I tried to hide from my own calling. From this moment forward, I will not treat my clarity like something optional. Take another breath. Let that settle. You do not have to force emotion. There are people who will not understand what changed in you. Let them misunderstand for a while. There are rooms that will expect the old version of you to return. Let them wait for someone who no longer lives inside your body. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming clear, and you are not losing love, you are losing fear. This is your release from over-explaining. This is your release from begging for recognition. This is your release from carrying the emotional weight of people who never asked God how heavy your own assignment had become. You can bless them without returning to bondage, and you can forgive them without reopening the door. You can love them without letting their confusion become your compass. This is mature authority, and it is part of the word God has spoken over you. If this message bore witness in your spirit, write, "God said it to me," in the comments. Do not write it as empty words. Write it as a seal. Write it as agreement. And if your spirit is moved, press like so this message can reach another chosen one who is sitting in the same silence you sat in. That small action may become the door that helps someone else realize they were not abandoned. Share it only with the person your spirit brings to mind, because not everyone is ready for the weight of this message. If this word is helping you recognize the season you are in, stay connected. There are more instructions coming for the ones who are learning to hear again. Subscribe, not out of habit, but as a way of staying close to the stream of what God is awakening in this hour. The ones who are being restored must not scatter when the signal becomes clear. And remember what was spoken today. God has never said this to you in this way before. He trusted you with what could not be released through anyone else in your bloodline. He did not choose your fear. He chose the part of you that kept saying yes through pain, even when your circumstances gave you reasons to stop believing. So when doubt returns, answer it with the word. When noise returns, answer it with stillness. When old voices try to shrink you, answer them with obedience. You do not need to argue with what has already lost authority over your future. God did not wait this long to leave you empty, and He did not bring you this far to abandon the promise. Now, walk differently, listen differently, rest differently, watch differently. The next sign may come softly, but you will know it. Your spirit has been trained by the wilderness, and your clarity is returning at the exact time it is needed. Chosen one, this is sealed. Heaven has spoken, and this time, your spirit will not talk you out of receiving it. So receive it. Keep it. Guard it. Let it shape your next decision. Let it steady your heart when the visible world still looks unfinished. God has spoken something unusual over you, and what he has spoken will not return empty. The old agreement is broken. The door has been shown. The word has found you.